All right, heading over to the land clearing job to take care of the one thing that has just been on my mind since the start of the job. Like the day I showed up, there was one thing I was thinking about, and it was that big old tree.
Picked up that enormous human and find national cost.
All right, let's just take a look at the tree first of all. Just with all my measurements and calculations and stuff, the best place to put it would be right here. It's not going to take out the pines and it's not going to damage this tree on this side. So this would be ideal, but the tree, you can see it's got a Scooby-Doo. It really wants to go that way. So I'm not comfortable felling it this direction. I just don't necessarily see it happening given where the mass is and everything. Like, it's possible, but it's not 100%. So I prefer 100%. Instead, I'm gonna climb it and take some stuff off of it so we can get it this way. And then another thing down here at the base that made me just a little bit hesitant to try to follow it is just not knowing how much funk is right here. I feel like it's got enough to hold me. If I climb it, I'm not worried about it, but as for notching and back cuts, it's a little sketchy. This kind of was a codominant double tree. I'm up here at the first layer of action, and I'm just gonna say that I'm not taking everything out. I'm not gonna clean strip this tree. Some of these big boys, I'm just gonna let them sit. My main goal is just to kind of thin it and get up in there so I can get the top out of it. Plus, I gotta say, this is also just one of those trees I wanted to climb. You know, it's funky, it's big, just looked like a good one. Damn blade is jammed somewhere. Oh man, that's messed up. All right, jump the chain. It's all kind of split open. I'm gonna have to drop down and go for my other saw. Bummer. Guess I can fix that. I mean, I could always call down for one, but you know, I don't want to bother the guys. All right, so it just looks a little funny. It's not like a typical chain jumping off. It's more like the tip of the bar split. So you'll see what's going on here. It just doesn't look super pretty is what I'm saying. It's not like a good looking situation. Alright, what's going on here? It's kind of wedged in there. That's out. The question is it like, yeah, is it? I don't know. Just a wee bit spread. Yeah, I think it's bent. All right, coach made the call. We're gonna keep this guy in the game and just see if it fuzzes out again. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. And for backup, we just got the little guy. I don't have my other bigger little guy, so we just have the 2511. This is my backup. It's a little small for this job, but that's my backup. All right, back up in the tree with the possibly fixed saw. I think it's gonna jump again, but we'll see. seems like the saw is kind of working. Hasn't jammed again. And I might be more stub friendly on this tree. I'm just not seeing super flush action, so we'll see. We'll see how the stubbing goes. Definitely happy to have the bigger saw running. Alright, so it looks like the tree's about to take one of its many twists and turns. It started out kind of going this way. Now it's kicking back over here. So it actually got a little bit of a straight section. It's still nice and fat though. I'll tell you that much. These branches are just huge. I don't know if you could tell, but when that thing hit, you could like feel it in the tree. So yeah, big stuff. I'm kind of glad the bigger saw is working for that reason. And I'm just gonna leave ugly stubs. Maybe a violation of your aesthetic code or your professional decisions, but just what's happening. In my experience, leaving stubs always comes around to bite you in the butt. But it's just happening this time. It's just kind of the nature of the tree and everything that's going on. Oh look, a small reasonable branch. The wreckage pile is getting pretty good down there, I'd say. Hey, we just had a shift in the tree to a lot smaller, like 24 on the wide side, so it is a tree that gets smaller. I'm on the wrong side of this tree. It's just all snake back and leaning. And I always try to climb the positive side, but I was kind of hanging on the negative, so. And I remember the whole point of this climb, I think, aside from climbing the tree, which I just kind of wanted to do, but the whole point of this climb was to shorten this guy. And we're getting up into some thinner woods, so that's gonna happen soon. I'm not into blowing huge tops out of trees. I just don't see the reason to add the risk. So I'm not gonna do that, but I am gonna take it sooner than later, just because later would be a skinny little top, but oh, skinny little tops are fun. So I don't know, let's just see what's next as we climb. Oh, what's all this stuff? And as for the tree, it's taking another turn here, just kind of scooping around to the right. So that was one of the reasons on the ground it was kind of hard to predict where this thing wanted to fall, because it has so many twists and turns. But anyway, now it's heading over kind of toward the green beast in the truck. probably couldn't see it, but we got some stuff behind us to handle. Up in there, we got another spot where it's kind of splitting out, so not a whole lot higher, maybe, kind of. Cue the wind. It was pretty still this morning, but now it's starting to pick up, so kind of like a big flag on the top of this tree now, and it's blowing. Coming up on a split where I can pop each top. That's nice. Okay, so the biggest tree on the lot, I can finally see at least where we're going with it. Toppy top. Alright, so that's my height reduction therapy on this tree. I guess I could take some little chunks, but I don't know. It's probably enough. I don't think there's any shame in just kind of sitting here for a minute and soaking it up, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just kind of kick back for a minute, you know, look around, and then I'll leave a line up here so that I've got something to pull it. Oh man, ground crew has been slacking so bad I cannot even get down to the ground. All right, we gotta go over here. This is just a mess. Just a big ground crew fail. Oh. Sometimes people ask me, how many loads did that job take? So I'm just gonna be transparent on this one. This is load number 1. It's almost done. There'll be a little more on there. And I don't know, maybe maybe half the brush, something like that. And then, of course, the logs. Oh, what do you think? Like 2 loads? 3 loads just for the logs? So we'll see. We'll see how many loads it's gonna take. I would predict 4 loads. I'm just gonna throw that down right now. This is number 1. The only problem is I got like a random car that just pulled into the drop zone. Hey, I'm dropping a tree right here. If you could pull up a little bit, that'd be great. Alright, so here's my full setup. I've got tied off on the smallest tree I could find. Then the line goes up to my little swivel block up there, connected to my climbing line, and then back so I can get some tensioning action. I'm not gonna go super tight, but you know, just gonna snug it up. Kind of thought that was going to need a tug, but it was tug free. Let's check out the stump. It looks pretty good actually. It's got a little funk over here, but not too bad. And it hinged out pretty nice. It did blow up on impact. That's a big branch hit. And I think we got, yeah, we got a crack. This was just one of those big curves. And another one at the end, so it's like self-bucking. Got a little metal goober here. It's kind of like a spring tensioner using an old fence, but just things to avoid. But otherwise, this guy is pretty much chopped up. I'm gonna see if I can't haul these out in big chunks. I'm just gonna say that this seems to be going okay, you know? Not too shabby so far. I've got a couple big boys left, but I just keep thinking, how did they do it in the 60s? Back in the 60s, they got a brand new tractor and they got it done. So far that's what I'm doing. So just snugging up the load with some 10-pound test ratchet straps. I only have to go on the highway once, so if I had it to do over again, I would choose a straighter tree and cut straighter logs, but this is what we got. Okay, that's the load. Everything's got at least one 10-pound ratchet straps. Tree is gone except for a couple little miscellaneous items. And I'm just packing away the second load of brush. That's load 3. That's gonna do this tree. It's gonna be a 3-loader. Let me do a little bit of before and after for you, just so you can kind of see it. All right, so this is the after look right here, and here's the before. We actually had a birch tree here we took out, and this was all kinds of overgrown. All right, here's the after on the big boy. Big boy tree is no more, and here's what it looked like before. We had a pretty good tree, pretty good sized tree there. And then walking through this area, this is the after. All this has been cleared back to the bathtub and the outhouse. Here's a look at it before, just to kind of get a feel for it. Here's all kinds of overgrown. There were grapevines and stuff. And then I didn't show you too much of the work back here. A lot of this was bush hogging, but here's the after right here. Here's those American chestnut trees, this one and that one. And here's a look at the before with this stuff, just so you can get a feel for. Okay, so that wraps it up. And let me just make the point that this is not really like a how-to video. Like I'm not saying this is the way you should do it. It's just the way I did, and I appreciate you checking it out.